going to call the regular session meeting to order.
Yeah.
Thank you for attending. I want to ask that Mike Sweeney, our member of the Emergency Preparedness Commission, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda is to do the roll call. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Right. Council members Aldred,
Here.
Olaware,
Here.
Bruce,
Here.
Dwyer,
Here.
Noel, here, and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Here.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is to approval of the regular session meeting agenda. Council, your pleasure.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for November 25 as printed.
Support.
Motion recommended by Councilmember No, seconded by Councilmember Boulware. We have an agenda. Next item on our agenda is to the reading of a proclamation. This is a proclamation recognizing Small Business Saturday, and this will be read by Councilmember No.
Whereas the city of Farmington Hills celebrates local small businesses and recognizes that they create jobs, boost the economy, and help to preserve our community. And whereas the city of Farmington Hills is home to more than 5,000 businesses that are owned and operated by hardworking people of all kinds. Of each dollar spent at local businesses, 70 cents stays local and recirculates to other area businesses. Shopping small represents your community support and a fellow community member's dreams. And whereas Michigan has more than 900,000 small businesses that amount to more than 99% of Michigan businesses. Small businesses are defined as having fewer than 500 employees, which account for nearly 2 million employees, representing nearly half of Michigan workers. And whereas consumers who shop on Small Business Saturday are making a conscious commitment to support small, independently owned businesses and make purchases with a positive impact. And whereas Small Business Saturday is an important part of small businesses' busiest season, during which consumers are encouraged to shop or eat at independently owned businesses and purchase gift cards from local businesses. Now therefore be it resolved that Teresa Rich, Mayor of the City of Farmington Hills, on behalf of the City Council, does hereby proclaim November 30, 2024 as Small Business Saturday and urge our community to support small businesses annually on the Saturday after Thanksgiving and throughout the entire year. And we have Linda Boone, who is going to be receiving this proclamation. She is the hardworking owner of the Seeds of Mercy resale store at 32232 8 Mile Road in Farmington Hills. The Seeds of Mercy store just recently opened to the community, offering great finds on home goods, quality solid wood furniture, sparkling crystal dinnerware, and so much more. The store is a local gem and the result of Linda's resilient determination. By shopping here, customers also help further the cause at the Seeds of Mercy Mission Home. So please stop by and support one of our local businesses. And Linda, if you want to come up here and receive this, and then also if you want to say a few words. Business and everything you do in the community. Feel free to say a few words.
Thank you. It's with great honor that I stand here today to represent my small business. I have looked forward to being here today, and I just want to thank everybody for allowing me this privilege. Our store is located at 32232 8 Mile Road, and it's in this great city, Farmington Hills, the city that I've raised my children in. I love Farmington Hills. from having my children go to William Grace grade school all the way through the middle school east and Harrison High School. And I've enjoyed being a volunteer. I've been a volunteer in this great city for over 20 years, serving the community with Baptist Manor. I did their chapel service for about 9 years. I participated in the Founders Festival, was actually in the parade when Rocky Rakowski was was representative, and I've just, I was the GLOW president for a GLOW International Women's Group for many years, and I served there in the community. And for 19 years, 19 years ago, my late husband and I, we opened an AFC home. We bought it, and it was right next door to our own personal home. And we tried to help, the people that were not able to help themselves at 100% capacity. And we changed everything at the group home into an independent living. And we tried to reach out even more so into the community. And it just so happens that this marks my 40th year of being a resident in this community. This year marks 40 years of this great city. So I have enjoyed like so many different things that we've done here. And one of my greatest things was opening up that group home and seeing there was an outpouring of all of our residents, family members and neighbors even participated and started contributing goods to me, clothing, shoes, like all kinds of different things to try to support me. And so I started having garage sales out of my home, out of our garage, 2 to 3 a year. And then, and it was fun, watching them, try on shoes and, different clothing and stuff like that, watch the residents. They had their own little tables. They could sell their own little things. And so then, it was just like a real rewarding experience that I was having do that. And, it's just like a really precious thing. And I'm going to continue to have my yard sales there because it's easier for my residents to, participate there. But everything that we sell, it helps enable us by liquidating items to fund and to provide more for our residents. And so that's the whole purpose of opening up the resale shop. And when my husband passed away from COVID a few years ago, after 47 years with him, there was even a more mightier, greater outflowing. People just started giving to me from all over to where I started having sales in the garage more than I should have. And then the city said, you can't do that. So the city literally pushed me out of my garage into my resale shop. And so that's why I'm here today. And I just, I brought some flyers I'd like to hand out to everybody. I'd like to make myself available to answer any questions or anything. I'd like to invite everybody to my resale shop. And, it's an honor to just be able to give bargains to the community. I have a couple great things that are happening right now for the month of November to thank everybody for just welcoming us into the community and just the Thanksgiving whole thing of being grateful and thankful. I am doing a cabinet giveaway, a little raffle where it's all free. We're not charging for it. And we're going to be giving that away. The donor of that cabinet is going to actually pull the name out of the box for them to receive the cabinet. And then second great thing that we got going on, we have a grab bag special that we do. That's $20, and for Black Friday, we're going to do the $20 and then a half off price. So you buy one, you get one a half off, and that should help the shoppers. We've got great deals. Solid furniture, a lot of household items there like tools in our man cave, shoes in our she shed and clothing, a small library, books, rugs, TVs, small appliances. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of great things and gifts for Christmas for the adults and for the children, of course. and we're trying to keep it at really minimal cost for everybody. I really want to help the community. That's what I'm all about. And I've even linked arms with some of the pastors in our local community. Our pastor of our church was not able to make it, but I see our bishop is here from our local community, Bishop Joyce, and I'm so glad that he's here. And so they've given us much to work with, and we want to give back. And so again, our resale store is open every day, occasionally closed on Sunday and Monday from 10 to 5. And finally, I want to give thanks to my family that's here, my son and his girlfriend, and the man of my life, Van McCarty, that helped me with opening and doing all the things that, that the city required of me to map it out and do all the things. So, and then I just want to thank all my family and friends and this great city, Farmington Hills, for all that you guys do for the community that enable us small businesses. And I say, keep up the good work, and just thank you for allowing me to help our community and to serve with keep my passion of what I love doing. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be standing here. And so I really love Farmington Hills. I've been here for 40 years, so thank you so much. A great honor to receive this tonight.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is announcements, presentation from city boards and commissions. I see we have Mike Sweeney here from the Emergency Preparedness Commission. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, members of staff. My name is Mike Sweeney. I'm just one of your preparedness commissioners. And we give a monthly tip of the month to help the community prepare their homes for whatever emergencies might be coming along. And I don't know it's an emergency, but in about 4 weeks, winter's going to be here. So while we're enjoying these last warm, beautiful days of autumn, we would like to encourage a little home maintenance and a little home cleanup. During the summer, it's just we put stuff away as quickly as we can after the parties are over. So we'd like to encourage you to go to your utility closet, take a look at your furnace, make sure you don't have stuff leaning up against the furnace, which could catch fire and burn the house down. Or just maybe clean out the utility closet and give the furnace a little chance to breathe, because incomplete combustion, carbon monoxide, that can kill you just as fast. And although it's not a health hazard, that furnace filter we talked about in July that you should retire in July, well, it's time to retire it now. It's November. It's done its job collecting the pollen, mold spores, whatever else. If you have a cat or a dog, there are souvenirs from your cat or dog in that filter. Before the family comes over for your Thanksgiving dinners, change that filter out. We'd also like you to take a look at your hot water heater, and while you're there, last month the fire department talked about smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Well, if you didn't quite get to it last month, we'd like to encourage you this month to get to that, and maybe even take a look and see if maybe you have a radon detector that might be time to replace. They last about 10 years, but after 10 years, they die too. It's time to get them out. Please go to your laundry room, take a look at your washer and dryer, especially the lint traps on your dryers and the exhaust duct. If you've ever taken lint out of that and dropped it on a bonfire, it's spectacular. So this would be a good time to clean that out. And frankly, if you are not up to doing this kind of maintenance, Farmington Hills has a wonderful business community of all kinds of maintenance folks who like to do that stuff. Take a look at them on Google, have them come over and get your house ready for winter, so that when we're standing there in the front door watching that snow come down and the snow plow come through and plow the snow, we're warm, we're comfortable, and we're drinking our coffee. And that's your preparedness tip for November, unless there's any questions.
Questions, council?
Thank you, and have a happy holiday.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Next on the agenda is correspondence. Does any member of council have any correspondence you want to share with the public? Nope. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items are listed on the consent agenda are considered routine, administrative, or non-controversial by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which event the item may be removed from the consent agenda for consideration. The consent agenda will be read by Councilmember Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Item 5, recommended approval of award of bid for the purchase and installation of lockers in the women's locker room at police headquarters to shelving.com in the amount of $26,953, CMR 11-24-116. Item 6, recommended approval of award of bid for body and paint repairs of a 2016 pumper fire truck to Tilda Paint and Body LLC in the amount not to exceed $36,987.50, CMR 11-24-117. Item 7, recommended approval of bid waivers for all budgeted instructors, speakers, artists, musicians, and performers for a period of 3 years, CMR 11-24-118. Item 8, recommended approval of a resolution to vacate a water main easement located at 35,712 Mile Road, CMR 11-24-119. Item 9, recommended approval of assignment of easement located along the south side of Biddlestone Lane, east of Farmington Road, to the Evergreen Farmington Sanitary Drainage District, CMR 11-24-120. Item 10, recommended approval of a cost participation agreement with the Road Commission for the Oakland County for the culvert repair project on Middle Belt over Shiawassee Tributary, CMR 11-24-121. Item 11, recommended approval of amendments to the defined contribution plan policy, CMR 11-24-122. Item 12, recommended approval of setting the City Council goals session date of January 11, 2025. Item 13, recommended approval of a request for the employment under Section 10.01A of the City Charter for a Labor One Golf. Item 14, recommended approval of the City Council study session meeting minutes of November 11, 2024. Item 15, recommended approval of the City Council regular session meeting minutes of November 11, 2024. That concludes.
All right. We have a request from a citizen to pull what an item from consent agenda for separate discussion. What item is that? Do you know? 12, okay. All right. So,
If I can, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
say, go ahead.
No, we don't get these requests very
Yes, go
often,
ahead.
so I could address that procedurally for council. So as you'll note in the way the consent agenda is presented pursuant to your rules of procedure, it is up to you whether, even when you get a citizen request to pull something from the consent agenda, it is up to council whether you make the decision whether to pull it if you get such a request. So you can do that either through a motion to pull it off the consent agenda and vote on that, in which case it would be placed under the consent agenda items for discussion.
You need a motion to do that, right?
If anybody is willing to offer the motion and it's seconded and it passes, then it would be removed from the consent agenda.
The chair will entertain a motion, if there is a motion.
What number was it?
12.
12, the date, January 11? That one?
The city council goals session date.
Sure. I'll make a motion to remove item 12 from the consent agenda and place it under consent agenda items for discussion.
One motion. Do you have a second?
Support.
All right. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose.
All opposed? How many opposed? Myself too. Dwyer and Bridges opposed it? Okay, so it'll be a 4-2 decision to have this item set aside. All right, so how we proceed with that?
So at this point, you no longer have consent agenda item number 12 on the consent agenda, so your motions would be for approval of 5 through 11 and 13 through 15.
All right, let's do, do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda except item 12?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve consent agenda items 5 through 11 and 13 by 15 as read by Councilman Dwyer.
Support.
The second motion by Councilmember Boulware, seconded by Councilmember Allred. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll
Yep,
call.
this will
I'm
be
sorry.
roll call.
Sorry, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Council members Aldred,
Yes.
Bolaware,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, that other item moves to what item again?
It would be, next you would move to consent agenda items for discussion, and you would now discuss agenda item number 12. And I think you have a blue slip regarding this item, is my understanding.
All right. So we will move to have a discussion about item number 12, and we'll hear from the public in regards to that item. There's,
Thank you.
yep, okay. So,
Just as a matter, this is not public comment, this is comment on this agenda item. Our understanding was,
yeah, this is comment on this agenda item on number 12.
Thank you to City Council. You know, we talk about this city and this city being a resident, constituent, taxpayer-friendly city. I think that we should be more involved with what your agenda would be. And when you talk about the goals. And I'm saying that so strongly because for whatever reason, we are here at this point where council has to vote to allow a truck stop to come into a residential area that's just going to overwhelm the area. So if you were to involve us in your goal setting, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation again in the future. So I'm just hoping that maybe you could reach out to the residents, have a meeting, and promote the fact that you want residents to give maybe 3 things. What should be on your agenda to help us, to show us that you're working not necessarily for us, but with us, and we're working as a team. And that's all I have to say.
Let me just, these meetings are, these goal sessions are public meetings, right?
Yes, they are.
They are public meetings, and the public is invited, is that correct? Yes, sir. All right, thank you. All right, that's, we need to make a motion on this item?
it would need to be a motion on item number 12.
All right, we need a motion on item number 12. Councilmember Allred?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I move that we approve the item number 12 on the consent agenda, which is recommended approval of setting the City Council goals session date for January 11th, 2025.
Support.
There's support. Motion moved by Councilmember Allred, seconded by Councilmember Knoll. All in favor? Roll call, I'm sorry. Another roll call vote, I'm sorry. Go back
Council,
there.
council members Aldred,
Yes.
Bolaware,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Before I vote, I was going to make a point that citizens, residents are already invited to those goal
Yes,
sessions.
they are.
So it's open already.
It's already open. I just said that. Yeah, I didn't say that.
Aye.
and Councilmember Noel,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move to the next item. Let's see, next item is the council members' comments and announcement. Council members, getting comments for the public today. Councilman Allred? Dwyer?
No.
Councilman Bolware?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Last week, myself and city manager and Councilman Randy Bruce and Valerie Knoll had the opportunity to go to a city summit that was put on by the National League of Cities, who were celebrating their 100th anniversary. And as a part of their 100th anniversary celebration, they visited 100 cities across the nation, and Farmington Hills was one of those cities that they visited, in which we showcased Heritage Park. And at the summit, we were recognized for our stop. Now, the National League of Cities is over 2,000 cities, towns, and villages who advocate for policies that's best for their cities, and also allow members, city council members, or any elected official to learn best practices while there. What's the best practice for various situations? And for me, you know, there were a lot of information that was given, but the two that I really connected with very strongly were two. They were artificial intelligence and how a city could use artificial intelligence in order to, first of all, respond quickly and better to its constituents, as well as using artificial intelligence to reduce the amount of time that city staff have to respond to in their daily, work life. Another issue that was really compelling to me was I like the idea of adult playgrounds that can be in senior communities or in our parks. And it's somehow that really connected very strongly with me, and I could see that perhaps somewhere at the Hawk or the Cossack or in our city parks. And I'm going to be working with our city administration and our council members here to see if that's something that we could implement here in our city. It was a great time, learn a lot, and our city staff and also council members were very involved. And there are so many sessions that we often had to split them up so that we could each learn about a subject and then bring it back, to council members. So that was it for me.
Member Knoll?
Yeah.
Sure. So one of the sessions I attended was on asset management, and it was extremely interesting. It basically, the point of asset management is for a city to catalog all of its assets. So that could be roads, sidewalks, it could be city buildings, city parks, anything that's an asset in the city. And then it helps with capital improvements planning. And they talked about it's important to plan for the replacement of these assets. Just like on your house, you take inventory of the roof and of the condition of your driveway and walkway and so forth, so that you can plan appropriately for when it needs to be replaced, and you have a good idea of how much it may cost. Oh, it has to be replaced in 10 years, or no, not till 20 years, so that you can plan appropriately, so that you can save appropriately. They also talked a lot about using, coding it as red, yellow, green, just to simplify it, to make it more transparent and easier for the citizenry to understand. A lot of times these are engineers who are evaluating these assets, and we all love engineers, but they kind of get an engineer speak, which isn't really easy for non-engineers to understand. So they really like making it simple, either rating it 1 through 5 or using red, yellow, green, because those are just common things that, the most general public knows what, red means. When you're talking about an asset, green is good, red is bad, yellow's in the middle. One of the ideas that they had is anytime, and what this is based off is they did a survey in one community where they asked the citizens how much they thought it would cost to replace 1 block of sidewalk. And they gave a range of options to choose from, I think as low as, maybe $1,000 all the way up to $100,000 and numerous, choices in between. And the answers came back all over the board, which kind of showed, and rightly so, most of us, if you don't work in the construction industry, most of us don't know how much it costs to replace a sidewalk. So one of the things that they thought gave as an example of something a city could do to help educate the public about the cost of infrastructure and assets is when the city is reconstructing that sidewalk or doing any maintenance on that sidewalk, to actually put up a sign saying, this project is costing $50,000 paid for by your tax dollars, so that the public can understand, what city money, what their tax dollars are being used for, and in the same time help educate them on the cost of things. And it also, in the long run, helps if the city does have to go out for a millage for roads or for any sort of assets. The city has, the residents kind of have a better idea of how much things cost for replacement. The other thing they talked about is grants are really, a nice tool when you can get grants for your city, but they said be very, very careful on taking grant money, because when you take that grant money to pay for something, what a lot of cities don't do is they don't then think about the maintenance on that and the replacement costs. It's one thing if it's free to get, they use the example of a bench A city got grant money and they put in new benches all through the city. Well, that's great, but in 20 years, when those benches started breaking, the citizens had an expectation those benches would be replaced, and the city didn't have the money to replace them. So just beware, when you take the grant money, you also have to factor in the maintenance and the replacement. So it was a really interesting session, learned quite a bit. The good news is our city manager already has an asset plan that this council has been reviewing for the past several years. And I remember when he first showed it to me, I'm like, why are we spending money on this? What is the point of this? But it is really a smart thing to do because it helps you manage your money and plan for the future so that we can be smarter, use taxpayer dollars wiser, be wise about it, but also transparent, so taxpayers know where their revenue's going, and also know that we're looking out and trying to really preserve our assets for the long term.
Thank you. Councilmember Bruce?
Yes, thank you. Can't really add too much more to what Ms. Boulware and Ms. Knoll has already said. It was a great conference, and there's always a lot of great sessions where we can learn really to be better council members on whether it's transportation, housing, budgeting, whatever the case may be. And they also have vendors from all over the country displaying the newest technologies and processes or procedures. And I spent a lot of time with one vendor who actually, getting back to the artificial intelligence bend, which I love, where they utilize cameras in city vehicles, and it doesn't take many of them, to assist zoning and planning, or actually really a zoning office, to detect changes or deterioration in different properties or areas by using artificial intelligence to collect those images over time and analyze them. And it's a really unique type of technology, again, utilizing that artificial intelligence, which I think is going to become much more widely used in cities across the country, and there was a number of sessions on that. So very cool stuff, lots of great things to learn and things that we can bring back here to the city and incorporate. And I brought a few already to the city manager for our goal session in January, based upon what I was able to learn from the conference. So it's a direct connection from that right into incorporating that information into what we do here on council. So it's a great opportunity for us, and want to thank obviously the city and the taxpayers for allowing us to do something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Bruce. My comments is that I want to wish everybody in Farmington Hills a happy Thanksgiving coming up this week, and also to piggyback on our Small Business Day to recommend our citizens do support small businesses in Farmington Hills, particularly Black Friday and going forward, because a lot of these small businesses depend on that type of time in this time of year in order to meet their goals, and so we wanted to also encourage that as well. Next is our city manager update. City Manager Maxim.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just want to remind all of our residents that yard waste collection ends on your regularly scheduled day, the week of December 9th. The holiday lighting event here at City Hall will be on Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, December 3rd, between 6:30 and 8:30 here at the City Hall campus. We'd encourage everybody to come out and enjoy the lighting ceremony, and see Santa arrive on a fire truck and have some cookies and milk in the fire station and all that stuff. So it's a fun event. Would also like to point out that the holiday extravaganza at the Costic Center is Friday, December 6th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And lastly, I think that's lastly. No, it's not lastly. And would like to put in a plug for our Farmington Area Chamber of Commerce for the Light Up the Grand Parade on Grand River in downtown Farmington, our sister city. That parade starts at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, December 2nd. And lastly, I too would like to wish everybody a happy and healthy, safe Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Maxim. Next on the agenda is a public hearing. This public hearing will in consideration of introduction of an ordinance to amend the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34, zoning, in order to restate certain permitted and special approval uses, in particular regarding gas stations, car washes, and auto repair shops to establish or clarify standards for approval or redevelopment of uses, and to address drive-through window standards. Director Charmaine. Good.
Good evening. I like going by one name. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay.
I am Charmaine Kettler-Schmaltz, the Director of Planning and Community Development. With me tonight, I have our city planner, Eric Pardonic, who's going to back me up. So we have the item before you, the draft zoning text amendment number 2, 2024. This is the introduction and public hearing for that item tonight. We have had multiple meetings between the Planning Commission, City Council, to review and revise this draft ordinance. That concluded with the Planning Commission public hearing meeting that was held to look at the text on October 17th. That was recommended approval by the Planning Commission that evening, and then we subsequently had a study session with the City Council, October 28th of 2024. The minutes for those meetings were in your packets and distributed with that earlier in the week. I'm going to go over a synopsis and just touch on a few of the highlights for the draft amendment. So we have proposed text amendments that are intended to better align the zoning ordinance with the newly adopted master plan for future land use, such that the ordinance is working to implement the goals and objectives of the new master plan. The proposed amendments will give the Planning Commission greater discretion in the placement of high-impact businesses to include auto repair, drive-in restaurants, gasoline service stations, vehicle wash, vehicle sales, veterinary hospitals, and commercial kennels in the community. The goal is to ensure a higher degree of scrutiny and the opportunity for those potentially impacted by negative impacts of these businesses to have that opportunity for input during a public hearing. The updated text will give the Planning Commission tools to require a higher quality of development to reduce visual blight. It will also provide a stronger basis for code enforcement in commercial areas. In addition, the updated text allows for greater opportunity in placement of cigar bars, lounges, arcades, and other indoor entertainment. This reflects the public input that was received during our process for the master plan for future land use. Comments were received from the community that they want more entertainment options for families. The updated text makes it easier to do so in Farmington Hills. As I mentioned earlier, myself and our city planner are here to either answer questions before the public hearing is open or subsequent to it with any questions that the council may have.
Thank you, Charmaine. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any question from council? Okay. We'll open the public hearing, okay?
Thank you.
Open the public hearing.
Good evening again. If this amendment, this text amendment is going to prevent a bully business like Sheetz from coming in, putting our ma and pa businesses out of business, I would totally be in favor of this. If this text amendment is going to stop a saturation of dollar stores, pawn shops, check cashing places, I'm all for this text amendment. Hopefully, this text amendment will address the fact that we don't have fine dining in this city. And I like what our Director of Planning said, that we want to prevent an oversaturation of certain kinds of businesses, but also more family entertainment type things. So I'm hoping for a little bit more specificity before you vote on this text amendment, that it would ensure that we're not going to cater to bully businesses trying to put our small businesses out of business. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. I'm sorry. Oh, Steve, come on, Stephen. I didn't hear you. Stephen had a slip up here also, a blue slip. All right, Stephen.
My name's Stephen Ludwig. We need more mass transit to the people, to business or small businesses, or we need back Farmington Hills, all right, or, I mean, we have facts, I mean, it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. Well, I mean, I'm for bringing more small business to Farmington Hills. Yeah, yesterday I went to Planet Fitness, had to call my brother in Florida to get me home, because that fax didn't work, it was at 12 in Millbelt.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to speak on this matter? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. Back to council for consideration. I don't want to council, we already know that council has spent a lot of time on these zoning text amendments, many hours of discussion regarding, debating the issues regarding, that were contained in the zoning text amendment. There's been exhaustive hearings at the planning commission level, which at 2 meetings and several meetings regarding this zoning text changes. This is as a result of the master plan that we all are aware of, and that it was a very exhaustive master plan looking at future land use of Farmington Hills. And so, Charlamagne, you got some additional comments to make regarding?
I'm here to answer questions that you may have.
Okay, we go to Councilmember Allred for a first question.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. More of a comment, and just to follow up on your comment there, that there's been a lot of discussion on this topic. There's been multiple meetings, and I think that's important for the residents to understand that the details have been discussed. But just I wanted to bring something out that may not be obvious. One of the things that I think was mentioned here in the B3 district, which is the commercial district, primary commercial district, the moving of gas stations and vehicle wash facilities to be something that will only be approved in a location that's already a gas station or a car wash. In other words, in that zoning district, you can't open a new one if it isn't already a gas station or a car wash in order to prevent proliferation of those businesses. I just wanted to clarify that. It's just in B3 that changes.
only, yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, and those uses would be a permitted use within our light industrial district.
Yes.
They just would not be continuing to be proliferated within our general business
In
district.
B3, it has to be an existing place. I believe in
Correct.
B1, it is still a requires special permission, rather than a regular permission. It's a special permission.
Special approval.
A special approval, but it could be in a location with special approval in B1. Is that correct? Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that out because I think that's a primary change here, that we're not allowing gas stations in B3 unless it's already a gas station.
Yes.
Except for, in a PUD case, PUD could override that, and then it comes back to council.
Yes.
So just wanted to bring that out, just for the residents to understand some of the details that have been discussed.
Thanks for the clarification, Councilmember Allred. Anyone from council have additional questions on this? Any questions from council? All right, we have a motion. Motion by Councilmember Bruce.
Thank you. I would move the introduction of an ordinance to amend the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34 zoning, in order to restate certain permitted and special approval uses, in particular regarding gas stations, car washes, and auto repair shops, to establish or clarify standards for approval or redevelopment of uses, and to address drive-through window standards. I think that this is a great change. I think it's going to give the city more flexibility. It's going to make the city even more attractive for certain businesses here. It gives us, I think, even better control over things. And so I think it's great timing, obviously, with the master plan being redone. I think this just is going to be a addition to that in terms of being very positive for development here. So that's my motion.
Motion by Councilmember Bruce. Is there a second? Councilmember Dwyer. There's a second by Councilmember Dwyer, and discussion? Just additional discussion? Okay. This will be a roll call vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Council members Aldred,
Yes.
Bolaware,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, next item on the agenda is a consideration of approval of an ordinance, introduction to an ordinance to authorize the conveyance of city-owned property, parcel 22-23-34-408-009 to Claudio Rodrigo Aguilera, Cusetta. Okay, I got 4 names there. And this will be handled by our Director of Economic Development, Tia Brockway. Ms. Brockway?
Thank you. Good evening, council. This is the first reading of the ordinance, the introductory for the property off of Osmus. The city received the reference property from Oakland County due to tax foreclosure in September 2011. So since last summer of 2011, the city has owned this parcel. It is zoned in an RA3 one-family residential. It is 0.40 acres large and fronts Osmus Avenue, which is located at the mid to southeastern portion of the city. Applicant and resident Mr. Rodrigo has presented their interest in purchasing this parcel at an amount of $5,000, which has been reviewed by our city assessor. The applicant will also be required to combine this lot onto their pre-existing property, and they have begun that application process. The applicant has also provided an earnest $750 deposit as a part of the purchase agreement. City staff, along with the city attorney, has been working on the documents required to close on the sale of the city property, as well as the city charter does require the city council adopt an ordinance to convey the city-owned lot. As such, the city attorney's office has also reviewed this item and drafted the quitclaim and ordinance.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Brockway? Okay, is there a motion? Okay, Councilmember Knoll.
I will make a motion to approve the introduction of an ordinance to authorize the conveyance of city-owned property parcel 22-23-34-408-009 to Claudio Rodrigo Aguilera Quezada, and that's CMR 11-24-115.
Is there a second?
Support.
Seconded by Councilmember Allred. This is a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmembers Aldred,
Yes.
Bolaware,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Knoll,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us down to public comment. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes and has to pertain to city business that's not on the agenda. First on our list to speak is Angela Teemer. Ms. Teemer. Please state your name and your street, not your street number. Thank you.
My name is Angela Teemer. I am on Winterset Circle in the Timbercrest subdivision. We do have understanding that the Sheets gas station is coming to our neighborhood is what is offered for city council. I am totally in disagreement with this because it's a neighborhood. We enjoy our neighborhood because Farmington Hills, and all of you know, we're a great community, full of great community leaders and great families, and I just don't see that this would benefit our area to have an additional gas station, which would make 6 gas stations within a 1-mile radius of my home. I think that we should just give it a good, deep thought to understand how it's going to impact us as our residents in our community, because I know that it's important that you guys work with us. And I am in total, not in favor of this new, I guess, adventure, if you will. And I would also consider that as well as a bully, because I do appreciate those mom and pops shops that are in the community in Farmington Hills, and I just don't see this as going in the right direction for our community. So thank you. And thank you for your service and happy holidays.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Next on to speak is Stephen. Stephen, you had a couple, come right up again. Please state your name, first and last name, as well as your address, not your street number. Thank you, Stephen.
I'm from 14 Orchard. My street is Running Stream.
Okay.
Apartment 2024, building 23.
Okay.
Last name Stephen, first name Stephen, last name Ludwig. Yeah, I mean, Papa Mouse is a little local business. They're trying to rebuild the brand. I mean, even Happy's little small, I mean, from the Midwest. They're in free states. Well, Papa's is pretty I mean, they're a little small local owned store, but I think they're gonna have 17 pretty soon. They have 16 already. They have Papa's at 12 in Millville.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Small Business Saturday sounds like a good idea.
Gotcha. Thank you, Stephen. All right. Anyone else from the public like to speak? No blue slips are forward. Okay. Please state your name and your street, please.
For the record, for a public hearing, you can ask for the address of a person, but to speak in public comments, you do not have to give an address or the street that you live on.
That's our
And you might
requirement
want to
here.
check that out.
That's our
Since we're
requirement.
going
You have to
by
put
the
address.
Robert's Rules of Order parliamentarian process, I just wanted to say that I found out something that just really grieved me, and that was we are going to be losing our police chief. And I'm just hoping and have my fingers crossed that the decision to leave Farmington Hills was not based on some of the insults, the bullying, the comments of everything being wrong and this chief not doing everything that he should have done. I'm hoping that that's not the reason that our chief is leaving this city. Because if it is, it would be a travesty. I'm hoping that when we promote, that we promote from within. At this time now, we need a police chief, since we're losing our beloved chief, Chief Jeff King. We need a chief that understands this city, understands the makeup of the officers that are working in the department. And I think we have a great deputy chief that should be highly, highly, highly considered for the position. You know, we always try to talk about diversity. We always try to talk about promoting from within. We talk about all these great employees that we have, but yet every time there's a spot open, cities incur all these extra expenses trying to do searches outside only to promote from within. So I hope that at some point, someone up here on the dais can share with me that we are not losing our chief because of the insults that I observed in a study meeting and how everything was wrong. Yet this man is so beloved by his department and the people in this city. I'm just really grieved by this. I'm grieved by some of the vitriolic behavior and manner of speaking that I've witnessed when this chief is being talked to. And I'm going to leave it right there. I want that to marinate on the person that it's intended for. And I believe that person knows exactly who I'm talking to. And notice I haven't said a name, but if you want to put a name on it.
Thank you. Next, we have Angie Smith, citizen, Farmington Hills.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Just while the speaker's approaching, just a point of clarification of a point of order.
Yes.
In terms of stating addresses, the forms require an address to be stated. You, as chair of the meeting, are allowing individuals to speak even though they haven't put the address and the required locations on the forms. So addresses are required on the form. When they're not provided, I understand that, you know, there might be a situation where you would like to have that, so.
Thank you. Attorney, I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you. Next is Angie Smith. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank
Your
you so
address, please. Just your street address, not your number, please.
You want the
No,
street?
just the street.
Okay. Ramblewood Club.
Thank you. All right.
I have to remember myself where I live. And I have no problem with giving the address if you need that as well.
But we don't need it.
Okay. I want to thank each and every one of you for your service.
Thank you.
This is not an easy job, as we all know. I want to thank you for your transparency in working with the city. I have a great city council, and I'm proud to be a member of this community for the past 27 years, going on 28. Each and every one of you have a special place with me, and how I feel about each and every one of you as city council members. This is not an easy job. You have things that you got to deal with, personalities from people in the community, and it's hard. We know that these are not big paid positions. I know mine, I don't get number $30 a meeting as a school board member. $30. You are transparent. You have worked with the city, and I have appreciated it. Although I am an elected official, but I am a community member. And as a community member, you have reached out. And everybody has to understand that and understand we can't tell everything. We cannot share. So I want to thank you all. Happy holidays. Well, Thanksgiving at least. And looking forward to all the events coming up. Yes, we are losing Jeff King, and it is, it's bad. We just put in our superintendent, and boy, did I get some backlash from that. But it's your job to do what you do. Hey, I don't need nobody to tell me how to do my job because I don't tell them how to sell cars or do anything else. And I'm looking forward to having our joint meeting together in January. So again, thank you. I just needed to tell all of you, thank you. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that is the end of our agenda, and there's no business before the city council. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, moved by Councilmember Bruce, seconded by Councilmember Knoll. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good night, Farmington Hills.